As a kindergarten teacher, I view being a child's first formal teacher in the world of elementary education as an important role since I play a part in building children's identities as learners and fostering positive attitudes toward learning and their early on in their formal school experience. So, coming from a literacy background in my graduate studies, I hold firm beliefs in making connections for children along their literacy journey, and in particular, making that reading and writing connection. I support literacy learning in my classroom through the implementation of reading and writing workshop, and empower students to see themselves as literate individuals by encouraging choice in their book selection during IDR, independent reading time, and choice during writing workshop, and choosing topics that are important to them. These are two ways that I foster meaning making and positive attitudes toward literacy among my students. So, reflecting back on how I guide students in this past year, it's very demonstrative of the caring pedagogical artistry embedded in this 3S philosophy that we're talking about. One persistent problem that I've observed over the past 4 years of teaching kindergarten is their lack of readiness skills and that students have entering kindergarten. This has been made apparent to my team of teachers and teachers across the district by the test results of the Brigance Kindergarten Assessment. This is a state-mandated test given at the beginning of each school year, and it determines kindergarten students' readiness and for the learning experience at school, and also helps us to provide support for their learning. Typically, students are categorized as ready with support, or ready with enrichment. So, in order to help my students gain necessary skills needed to become literate individuals and meet the kindergarten benchmarks of our curriculum, I have worked diligently to encourage family engagement and literacy practices at home with their children. Over my teaching career, I've seen more and more the importance of family engagement and literacy practices at home. I think this is a big determiner of my students' literacy learning. There is a lot of research out there that supports family engagement and towards children's attitudes towards school and their overall achievement. So my decision this past school year to participate in the Kentucky Reading Project and come up with the idea of home journals and family engagement was one big part of my professional learning community I participated in with the KRP, the Kentucky Reading Project. So it's a year-long study, and we had many meetings and engaged in discussions around professional readings. One such text that we used was Jo Beth Allen's Literacy in the Welcoming Classroom, Creating Family-School Partnerships that Support Student Learning. That was a very important text and kind of guiding my ideas around family engagement and using the home journals. So I want to continue to explore family engagement and literacy learning and lead learning through creating opportunities for collegial conversations with my team of teachers as well as vertically with other grade levels in my building. So I feel like initiating these conversations at weekly team meetings and PLC meetings with our Goal Clarity Coach would give teachers time to share how they use home journals and help engage their students in literacy learning, as well as address any areas of concern. So these home journals have been used pretty widely across different grade levels at my school, and as well as other methods of fostering home literacy. We use a school-wide take-home books in a bag program as one example. I would like to start these conversations with teachers to see their perceptions about home literacy and ways to foster engagement, discussing issues such as cultural differences and maybe language barriers that may be resulting in a lack of participation among certain families, and problem solving together to help overcome these issues could lead to better ways to support more family engagement. So my goal is to continue to use these home journals this next school year and invite families to write together. I saw this as having a very positive impact on my students and families who participated regularly. Students were excited to share their journals each Friday. I formed a connection with them, getting to know their interests, family life, which impacted my ability to conference with them during writing workshop and assist them in forming their writing ideas. Also, I noticed that my students' speaking and listening skills improved as a result of their journal sharing each Friday. They became more active listeners, showing an interest in their classmates' work, as well as better readers and speakers. And then also, 80% of my class met or exceeded the benchmark for the reading diagnostic assessment at the end of the school year. And 100% of my class showed growth in the acquisition of literacy skills. So I attribute this gain in literacy from the Brigance test at the beginning of the year to the RDA at the end of the year to the many opportunities for reading and writing my students engaged in both in and out of school. I would like to use analysis of student literacy skills and progress in meeting benchmarks as one way to determine student growth during this next school year. Another idea is to administer effective student surveys pertaining to attitudes toward literacy activities at the beginning of and end of each year. And these surveys could be analyzed to determine positive growth trends and overall attitudes toward literacy engagement. And then also giving parent surveys on the use of home journals to establish frequency of use, perceptions on literacy learning, factors outside influences that may be impeding their weekly engagement in journal writing, and attitudes toward the use of journals in future grades. So there's different ways that I foresee sharing the results of my study this next year, including with my colleagues at my school and during staff meetings and other teachers in my district and state. I presented my project at the KRP Share Fair this past April, and many teachers at my roundtable sharing were quite interested in the results of my home journal project. We had a good conversation on how this was put into practice and the impact on my students' learning. I think it embodied the 3S philosophy of this new curriculum development. I'm sharing my literacy action plan with the next group of reading project participants this summer, and the instructors of KRP have also invited me to present my project at the Kentucky Reading Assembly in the fall. So these are other ways that I plan on sharing my project and opening collegial conversations with other educators across the district and state this coming school year. Thanks for your time.